Hi everybody, and welcome to Fall FLAIR Knit Along. Today it's just the early bird sneak preview of the yarn choices. Next week we'll actually start into our knit along. So I'll just give you a little bit of information about what we'll be doing, the patterns, the features, the sizes, different thicknesses of yarn, all the fun stuff. So hi everyone, I'm Michelle at Muskoka Yarn Connection in beautiful Cottage Country, Ontario, and we usually do a seasonal knit along or make along, and that has been going very strong during the last couple of years, so we thought we would keep it up. We do it every Friday at 5 p.m. live right here on Facebook. The videos eventually do go to YouTube. You'll find them there if you're looking for any of the back videos for reference. And we try to pick a project or projects that has a variety of details and features that will interest you and different levels, and also match up some yarns to give you an idea of what would be a good choice for the actual project. So for this knit along we have 3 projects, very exciting, and they're all by the same designer. Her name is Jennifer Beale, B-E-A-L-E, and she lives on the Avalon Peninsula in Newfoundland. So she is Canadian, and she has some beautiful designs. If you have a chance to look at her Ravelry page, you'll see what I mean. They're just very different. She knocks it out of the park the way she combines lace and color work together in one project. That's pretty much unheard of in the knitting world. So we will be here every Friday at 5 p.m. live. As I mentioned, we'll have an in-store knit along group which meets from 1 till 3 on Friday. So I'll be posting their progress pics of their chosen projects, of course, and we'll do some incentive trivia each week. And of course, at the very end of the 4 weeks, we will have a grand prize draw. And the dates are October 21st to November 11th. So that's next Friday, and then the 4 Fridays until November 11th. And that should give you enough time to really sink your needles into a new project and tune out the rest of the world and just have some time to connect with your yarn and these beautiful designs. So let's get to them. So design number 1 is called Marquees. I'll bring up a picture closer to the camera. I'll put the links down below so you can access more information from the Ravelry page for each of these projects. This is the one that I've chosen to do for the Fall FLAIR knit along. And by Fall FLAIR, we're just hoping to add a little bit of extra something to your knitwear cupboard. Maybe you need to brighten up the color palette, or you need to add something that has more detail work, or just a different shape, different fit than what you're used to. So this one is called Marquees. It is an A-line t-shirt style, knit from the top down. Now unfortunately I don't have a picture of the side of the t-shirt. It has some beautiful lace work. So details about Marquees that I can share with you are needle sizes suggested are 3.5 millimeter and 4 millimeter. It is a sport to DK weight yarn, so we've got some beautiful choices on the table that I can bring up to the camera. And the designer Jennifer includes 9 sizes with what she recommends at 0 to 5 inches positive ease. So you want to get your chest measurement right, and then the rest of the A-line shaping will get nice and wide and flowy over the waist and the hips where we like it. So finished sizes start at 34 inches, next size 36 3/4 inches, 39 3/4, 42 1/2, 46 1/4, 50 1/2, 55 1/2, 60 1/2, and 65 1/2. So that is around the underarm circumference. And the yardage required will be 690 yards of the main color, up to 1450 for the largest size. And then of course you can see there is some contrast coloring, and that requires about 40 to 80 yards. So one skein of sport to DK weight will cover the contrast color. Design elements include saddle shoulders. It's knit top down, it's seamless, there is lace work and stranded color work, and there is some I-cord finishing around the neckline, which makes it nice and stretchy and looks very neat. So that is design number one. The lace work across the saddle shoulders will continue at the sides. And of course, the color work is optional. If you don't like the color work in there, don't dismiss this project choice. Based on that, you can always eliminate it and just continue in the stocking stitch, as you can see above and below. I've chosen to put the color work in my design, and my colors that I have picked are in a brand new hand-dyed base from Muskoka Yarn Goddess. This is called Lusso, and it's a combination of merino and bamboo, 50-50. So it has that glossy effect, and it feels very drapey when it's knit up, and a beautiful sheen. So this is 262 yards for 100 grams. We have 6 colors. This is called Aspen Glow, and this will be my contrast color. It was a bit of a dark horse. I wasn't sure if I would like it with the main color, which is Raspberry Sky, but I think they really partner well together. And next week I'll have the finished project to show you, and then you can decide if you like these two colors as much as I do. So that's one combination, and you can also pair the Raspberry Sky with the silver gray, and then we have a really pretty autumn sky. The autumn sky would probably be nice as a main color with Aspen Glow as the contrast color. The silver gray seems to go with all the colors, and then we also have lilac sky, and that would look nice with the silver. And the last color is Tickle. So I'll just show you all the colors together, and that will give you an idea of the palette that we have to work with. So we have Silver Sky and Raspberry Sky. And these are semitonal, so they have interesting little shading effects throughout. And we have Tickle. I'll put that with Aspen Glow so you can see a bit of contrast between the two. And the sheen really shows up nice on camera. And here we have Autumn Sky and Lilac Sky. So I think that's all 6, yes. Okay, so other options for the Marquees would be our brand new alpaca heather. And remember, folks, that when we're knitting an A-line top that doesn't have any ribbing at the bottom, you want something that is going to drape well. It has to have body. So the bamboo is going to give me the body. And also when it's an alpaca blend. Alpaca is very silky, and it just drapes so softly. So here we have a solid color, which would be nice for the mane, and then a multicolor, which would be very interesting for the color work. So these are a combination of merino and 30% alpaca, 164 yards, 50 gram skeins. And the other combination that would be quite lovely is this soft gray blue as the mane, and then this warm earthy palette as your contrast. Or you could reverse it and have the solid color as your contrast. Remember, the choice is yours to make. And also in the DK range, we're also throwing in some of our blue-faced Leicester 100% wool. This is a British spin, 240 yards. So here we have a teal at the bottom, a powdery blue-gray, and then a steel gray at the top. So those three would be great if you're thinking of doing just a solid color, or again, you can mix in some of the alpaca heather for multicolored contrast. So those are our sport to DK weight options for Marquee. But now, if you're not really fond of doing a short sleeve t-shirt, I know some of you are a little bit concerned about going into the winter season. Will it be worn, or will it just sit in the cupboard until spring and summer? I would wear this over a long sleeve t-shirt, or over a turtleneck, or even over a blouse. I think that would look really pretty and elegant. You can also extend the sleeves longer if you wish, but remember, you have to purchase enough yarn before you do that. You can also extend the body length a little bit longer. There are some projects on the Ravelry page. You'll see the link below after the video airs. And on the project page, you'll see some of the knitters have knit a longer version in the body and also in the sleeve. So that's food for thought. It's always nice to see what other knitters do before you decide. So project number 2 is very interesting. And would you believe some of the knit-alongers have already chosen 2 of the knit-along projects, not just 1, and there's somebody who might be going with 3. So this one is called Trepacy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. This is the back version and the side version. It's a cardigan, and it will work for any of the sport to DK weight yarns I have shown on the camera for the Marquees version. So this one is inspired by a small fishing community on the Avalon Peninsula, and this is again where the designer lives. So she is able to gather inspiration from her own neighborhood. And this is worked on a 3.75 millimeter needle. It incorporates cables and lace, so no color work, no FLAIR. It's knit top down, saddle shoulders, just like the first project choice. A-line, so it has a nice flare to it. It has very interesting pockets. I'll bring it up to the camera. And front eyelets. So the eyelets are part of the pattern all the way down, and they provide built-in buttonholes. So you have all sorts of options if you want to have a very close row of buttons, or if you want to space them further apart. All you have to do is use your eyelets as the buttonholes. And the designer recommends 2 inches of positive ease when you're choosing your measurement size. She includes 9 sizes in this project, starting at 29 inches, that's chest circumference at the underarms, all the way up to 59 inches. So yardage requirements start at 1,055 all the way up to 1,905. So this is definitely meant for you if you enjoy doing a little bit of cable work and pretty lace details. So this is the side version, and again there's quite a bit of reverse stocking stitch here to break up the lace work. You can extend the sleeve length, and these are her special pockets, which are featured in quite a few of her jackets and cardigans. So they're worked on an angle, and then you can just slip everything in without having a square patch pocket. And here is the saddle shoulder detail, which comes right down the sleeve. And then for the back view, it's all lace and half cables. So this is choice number 2, Trepacy. And if I'm not pronouncing that right, and we have anyone watching who is from the Rock, maybe you could let me know, is it trepacy or trepacy? Trepacy? I know it's a fishing village. So that is option number 2, and all the choices that I've shown you on this side of the table will work for this project. And then we have option number 3. Can anyone guess which of the 3 has become the most popular so far? Is it option number 1, Marquees? Option number 2, trepacy cardigan? Or option number 3, llama-line cardigan, which is also named after a small town in Newfoundland with a population of only 218. So out of 218, I'm very curious how many of those are knitters. I would guess probably 60 or 70%. So this one is worked in fingering weight. So we're going into a finer weight. All the yarns on this side of the table, which I will show you, and needle sizes suggested are 3 millimeter, 3.25, and 3.75 millimeter. And the designer Jennifer offers 7 sizes, starting at 34 inches all the way up to 65 inches. The design is worked in 2 pieces. There's no sewing. You're using a 3 needle bind off to join the shoulder seams and also the back seam. So if you can imagine, one half of the cardigan is the front and half the back and a sleeve, and then the other half of the cardigan is the opposite front, half the back and a sleeve. Those 2 pieces are joined together with a beautiful 3 needle bind off down the center back. It is worked from the bottom up. There are buttons up and down the front. Sleeves can be worn rolled up with an interesting button strap that attaches to the shoulder seam, and then the split undersleeve seam here. Again, if you want a traditional sleeve and you just want to knit a straight sleeve all the way down without all the extra details, then that will work too as an option. And yardage is 975 for the smallest size, up to 2,000 for the largest. That's the main color. Contrast color takes 90 to 150 meters. So I'll bring that up a little closer to the camera. So there you can see the button detail down the front, moss stitch borders, and it has mitered corners, which will be fun to try if you haven't done that technique before. A V-neck shaping, the shoulders drop, and there is gentle color work all the way around the bottom border, fronts and back, the front borders, and the top of the sleeves. The cuff of the sleeve is split underarm, so you can see here it flares out a bit, and that split is just so that you can roll up the sleeve and use her button strap feature, but that again is just an option. If you prefer a very classic sleeve, then you would just knit your sleeve all the way down and then moss stitch at the very bottom border. So this one takes 2 colors, of course. You could knit it in one, but I think you would be losing a lot of the effect of the pretty, it's almost like an evergreen detail or fir branch. So colors in pure merino, superwash merino. We have a very rich cranberry shade. You can see it's a little bit tonal. You've got the highlights of the deep and medium shades. And then we have variegated, which would be gorgeous for the contrast color. This is Alma, hand-dyed superwash merino, 100 grams, very, very soft and plush, and the yardage is quite exceptional, 546. So that would give you some nice autumn toned choices. This could be worn with blacks, navies, dark greens, chocolate brown, beige. Very earthy. And then we have two semi-solids. We've got the teal blue and the light, I don't know if that's a sky blue. It's got quite a bit of the teal shade in it, undertones. It's not a baby blue, so maybe a soft robin's egg blue. So those two would pair nicely. And if you are a blue-green fan, here we have a deep, deep periwinkle blue into sapphire. And then, of course, the contrast would be greeny blue, jade, turquoise, and a bit of a creamy sky blue here. And then another variegated choice for the contrast. This one has chocolate brown, sage green, different shades of cranberry, soft rose, and that would pair really nicely with the deep teal as the mane. So these are all fingering weight, so remember that means you'll be knitting your project a little bit longer. And from Richard DeVries, I always like to throw in some of his color choices because he makes such beautiful yarns. This is his merino with cashmere nylon in a soft charcoal, which would feel very, very luscious against the skin. So that would make a nice choice for the main color. And then you could add a color pop with Pepino, which is pure merino, in color Fizzy Pop. And there you get some speckles of blues and lilac and a dark rose and a light cranberry. So contrast and mane or reverse. And if you prefer all cashmere, then you could have the charcoal as the mane and this pretty frazzle black as your contrast. And that would be perfect to wear with denim, black, navy. And another pop with the charcoal would be Pepino in Indelibly. So hot pink and speckles of navy and undertones of lilac in there. So from Richard's collection, we've got these four to play with in the color box. So again, that's fingering weight. And then we have our commercial fingering weight, which we never like to rule out because it is very durable, machine washable, wool blend. So we have the charcoal, and this is slightly heathered. So charcoal works well as your main color. And then we have the blue heather with undertones of purple and turquoise. And then a cream base. And this is not just a winter white or eggshell. This is a little bit more like a parchment or a chalk, a chalky cream. And then we have the light gray. So those are four good starting points, and then you can incorporate some of the cashmere or the merino. So lots and lots of pretty colors. So I will be posting a picture of the different yarns with some of the details in our events page. If you're not sure where the event page is, if you go to the top of our Facebook page and click under the cover photo, you'll see a tab pops up and it says events, and it's Fall Flair KAL or Knitalong. And I will post all the tips and tutorials in the event page. So if you click going or like, whatever the options are on your screen for the event, That way every week you'll receive notification that there is something new, like a new technique that you can look at, a video or a tutorial link. And I will put the links down below the video today with the pattern choices for option number 1, number 2, and number 3. We have contacted the designer, Jennifer Beale, and she's very, very excited that we're featuring her patterns for this knit along, and she'll be following along to see everybody's progress and hopefully commenting. And she'll be doing some sort of question and answer with us so we can find out a little bit more about her background, what brought her into the world of knitwear design. She has a very interesting career path that led her to the small community that she lives in on the Avalon Peninsula. So I can't wait to connect with her and just find out more about her creative journey. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and hurry up and get things off your knitting needles, get those projects done so you can have a fresh new knit along project to start on for the middle of the month. I will catch you next Friday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching.